Hey guys, Tim Irwin here, and I'm going to give you a brief summary about either my October book or my November book of the month, and I chose my October book of the month because it was the better one of the two. My October book of the month was Alert by James Patterson, and some background information about James Patterson is he's very descriptive, very action-packed, and loves to just have action on every single page of the book. So that made him a really good author, and that kind of showed how successful he was as an author for having every single page be so action filled. So this book's actually a #1 New York best time sellers. It's Alert by James Patterson, if I haven't told you that yet. And the book Alert by James Patterson is about an NYPD officer who has a certain case that is like one of the more severe cases. It's like one of the biggest crises besides 9/11 that happened in New York. There was a lot of series events that happened, but the thing was, the series events were like boom, 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 and they just happened so quickly, but they were that kind of quickly spaced out that you were so into it that you didn't even realize there was that many pages in between each incident. So I'm gonna try to plug in every single incident that happened so you guys can get the whole image of what happened and where it happened and how it happened. But the book is so cool because it had the detective's point of view and the criminal's point of view for each chapter. I kind of liked that because just having the detective's point of view kind of be boring, and you kind of feel like you need the background information on how the criminals got it to happen. So they would start off with the criminals, and then they would leave you in whoa, what's gonna happen? They would oh, they press the button, and you're like, oh my gosh, is it gonna explode or is it not gonna explode? So then they would go to the detective, and then they would kind of lead it up to how it happened and where the detective was, and oh, that happened, and then how he got there. So the subway stations in New York were bombed, and if you don't know, New York has underground subway stations to get you from point A to point B. So the first attack was the bombing of the subway stations, and the detective had no idea what was happening until he got a call when he was at home with his 6 kids, because he was actually remarried to a girl who had 3 kids and he already had 3. And he was at home with the 6 kids and got a call, and he immediately got in his car and went, and he was assigned this case. Now, he was so focused on the bombing of the subway stations, trying to figure out who did this, while they completely forgot about what could happen after that. So some background information about the criminals was they did not like anything about America. They were completely against it, and they were ready to make the next biggest crisis happen besides 9/11. So they decided to nuke half of the town of New York City, and that completely shut down the whole city, every electricity set, all the cars, everything, and that completely destroyed a lot of people in the city. Now, he completely forgot that something like that could happen. So while he was trying to juggle with that, he was juggling with the bombing of the subway stations, and they somehow all connected with the subway station. So he knew both of these were his cases, and he had to find how to fight them. So while that was happening, the mayor gave a speech, and they said it was a great speech, and he usually didn't talk a lot, but he talked, and he said, I'm gonna fight for you guys, I'm gonna find out what's wrong with the city, and I'm never gonna give up on you guys. But how the detective described it, as James Patterson wrote, there was this red mist, and he thought something was gonna happen crazy, they're gonna have dancers come out or something, but then they saw the mayor on the ground and realized that he was assassinated and shot in the head. Now, the interesting thing was they didn't have a previous chapter about the criminals doing that. So that was the turning point of wow, maybe I'm not going to know what's going to happen before it actually happens. So that was the interesting part about this book, was they actually put some little things in there that would twist the story around, and you're like, wow, that's something that I really enjoyed reading about, but kind of scares me as the book will go on, because I'm scared they might kill the main character, and I don't want that to happen, because you just don't want the main character to die unless it's somebody bad. So as that was going on, so there was this 3 set of things, and there was kind of they were trying to figure it out. They were trying to get witnesses, but the detective could not get witnesses, so he completely lost honors of fighting this case. So he just went home, and after a while, he just couldn't do it anymore, so he actually went against what he had to do, and he tried figuring out all by himself. Meanwhile, he was trying to find out what was going on. He was just a couple blocks away when the main building in New York Police Department got bombed. And how that happened was kind of interesting. It happened, they unscrewed the air vent, they sent a drone down the air vent and blew up half of the building. So they kind of saw that, they didn't really see any of this coming, so they had to, everybody was scrambling around. The crisis of New York City, it just got so bad that the people were starting riots, and just seen from the detective's point of view, it just like, that would be so stressful, and trying to keep his kids out of that is just something that like, wow. I'm going to explain my rating for the book and tell you if it's a good recommendation. I'm going to tell you right off the bat, it's a great book to read. I give it a 5 out of 5 stars because it's so action-packed. It's so great. It's just, I love it. And it's just, you guys will love the book too, because who doesn't love a book with action upon action upon action upon action? So, I also liked it because you knew what was going on half the time, and you understood what was going on because he was so descriptive with what was happening and how it was happening. My reading experience, it kind of made me want to read more of James Patterson books, because like, this was a series, so there's more detective books about this guy, and I'm like, wow, if this happens, there might be something else that happens in a different city that he works for. So that was my kind of reading experience, and I didn't really want to put the book down, but I had to because, you know, it's school, so I had to work on other homework. What am I taking away about this? It was kind of scary because, like, any given day, a crisis like this could happen. Like, we didn't see 9/11 coming, and sure as heck in this book, nobody saw that coming about the crisis of New York. But the thing that tells me is that there's people in this world that will protect you from anything. There are police officers that will come and put their lives on the line. There are firemen that will come and put their lives on the line. There's the army that goes across seas and puts their life on the line to keep us from any given crisis of the day. And I just feel like this book is something that a lot of people have to read, because a lot of people have discouraged for the police, but like, there's something that this book showed me, that the police are always there, and they're gonna go from hell and back to fight and find out who did this and keep you safe. And just how NYPD officers fought their lives to put that criminal in bad place so they could catch him. And that's just something I learned, that there's somebody that always has your back. Even God, police, everybody has your back, and they're gonna make sure you're safe. And you just have to trust them, and they'll get you in the right place. I hope you enjoyed this video, because I enjoyed talking to you about my book of October, and I hope you guys learned that this book is something you should really read.